Bhaskar Ramesh, Director of Omni-Channel Google India. Can we have a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? And to go ahead and to have a quick chat, I would like to go ahead and welcome Charu Lamba to discuss more on AR, VR, and Metaverse are revamping in the retail industry. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome both of them on stage.
So we have seen that the retail industry is changing to a great extent, all thanks to the pandemic. The pandemic has accelerated the adoption of digital technology, to be honest. So we have Bhaskar with us, who has a deep knowledge about omni-channel, how it is going to change the face of the retail going ahead. AR, VR, metaverse, immersive experience, as Google says. He's going to talk about everything in front of us. So Bhaskar, I want to know from you, how has the consumer behavior changed according to you, and how are retailers shaping, and how are you guys helping them, retailers basically, to adopt to the changing behavior of the consumers?
All right. Hello, everyone. Very good morning. Thank you, Charu, for having me. This is the first in-person event after a couple of years, so really excited and delighted to be speaking to all of you today. So to your question on what are the changes that we are seeing from our vantage point is I think the retail transformation which started over the last 2 years, most of these behaviors are going to stick. Yeah. So three fundamental changes that we are seeing are number one, omni-channel used to be a competitive advantage for retailers, right? 10 years back, when a Nike or Reebok, these guys want to do it, it was supposed to be a competitive advantage, right? You can buy anywhere. But today it has become like a consumer expectation, yeah? And if you look at our year-end search report recently, the whole expectation of consumers are that all products are available both digitally and physically. And if you see, around 533% growth is happening in D2C brands. And 67% of the consumers that we have actually surveyed actually tried something new in the last 1 year, in 2021. And that's the way the D2C boom is actually like going to continue and survive as well, and thrive. The second big trend that we are seeing is data becoming like the new fuel, and whether it is quick commerce or live commerce, or I think or any sector you take, right? For example, even in not just retail, but even in financial sectors, people, even whether you're an insurance company or whether you're a lending company, people are trying to see like, hey, irrespective of profitability, a two-way engagement and having strong data platforms is really important. So your best marketing channel is actually becoming your customers more than anything else. So winners and losers will be defined by who are able to do a better sense of data. And so data as a fuel is the second big trend that we are seeing. And the third big trend we are seeing is the rise of the video commerce. And I had the privilege of actually like working on YouTube monetization some time back. So video driving performance, video driving apps, video driving engagement. Now video driving commerce is actually is the direction where the puck is headed. Earlier, a lot of times creators, so-called influencers, used to make money on YouTube only in one way, which is through advertising. Now there are like 12 new ways for people to kind of make money, and almost 70% of the times people say that YouTube has helped them buy something. So there are billions of queries happening which are shopping, and I think on the video screens are actually helping them to be able to do a far better job in commerce. So if you look at China, almost 20% is actually live commerce. In India, it is just about to take off. So you'll see more and more of this video which used to play in the upper funnel is actually going to play a lot more significant role lower the funnel. The more younger your consumers are, I think the more engaging this opportunity is.
Right, you said. So AR, VR, live commerce, social commerce, new commerce, quick commerce. I mean, there are various ways the retailers are exploring the options.
Yeah.
And if we talk about future is omni-channel, right?
Yeah.
So how far has India reached, Indian retailers have reached, and how it is spanning for Indian retailers, and how long will they take to become a true omni-channel brand?
It's a great question, and a lot of whenever I introduce myself as say I lead the omni-channel business, I said what does omni-channel mean, right? And in fact, at Google we have actually organized ourselves in to be able to look at digital native businesses differently and omni nature of businesses differently. If you look at it, I think the fundamental opportunity right now in India is that, like, in a Forrester study that we have done across all the omni kind of businesses, which is tech, retail, BFSI, and CPG, auto, all the traditional sectors which have retail as a big play, 93% of consumers have actually said their pre-purchase journeys have become omni, right? While only 40% of businesses are actually offering any set of hybrid experiences. So, like literally, universally, people are wanting an omni-channel experience, which is no matter where the sale is culminating, people expect it to be present digitally and physically. But only 40% of the businesses are actually are actually offering a hybrid service opportunity. And within that, the most concerning thing is only 20% of the companies are actually saying they have in their advanced tech and tools to be able to unlock the full opportunity. So, which is going back to my earlier point, right? What used to be like a competitive advantage for retailers has now become a basic consumer expectation, and all retailers, almost 80% of the retailers are actually falling short to deliver that promise. To me, that is the opportunity, because without that, what we are seeing is almost 60% of the times, a lot of consumers are saying that the information that they see on digital screens and the offline screens are not talking to each other, right? And that leads to friction. And secondly, there is already discovery is a challenge, right, of products on the in the digital world. Now, combination of offline inventory and even digital, I think the challenge on discoverability is actually even multiplied. So I think there's a long way to go, but we are seeing incredible investment from companies to be able to invest into their omni-channel presence. If you look at auto companies, they are saying, how do I reimagine the dealership of tomorrow? Yeah. If you look at financial companies like a Bajaj Finance, who has 150,000 branches, they're looking at how to really like talk to their 50 million plus consumers using the 3-in-1 app. If you talk to retailers, you're seeing a lot of more functionality added in the stores and a lot more D2C brands emerging, for literally at a platform level or at a brand level. So there is a lot which is actually happening in this space, which is why whether you are a Nykaa or a Sugar who wants to build 100, 200 kind of a stores, or you are a Unilever who has now becoming 14 D2C brands, the worlds are converging, and I genuinely believe that the future of retail is omni, and that will decide winners and losers of tomorrow.
I was wondering if I go and shop from some brand, so I don't get a unified experience till now.
Yeah.
So by when can we expect that Indian retailers will be able to deliver the unified experience that actually customers are looking forward to?
That's a great question. So I think, as I said, consumers are way ahead and retailers are way behind. In my view, I think investment in tech infrastructure, which is the first step to basically investing in cloud infrastructure, investing in customer data platforms, and how do you define these cohorts, and looking at omni-channel metrics that truly matter. All these are steps in the right direction. The good thing I'm seeing is a lot of senior managements in retail are actually convinced and taking some decisive steps over there. So I feel that I think by 2024-25, we should see that at least among the top set of retailers to be embracing this a little bit more fully.
And what is Google's role in enabling brands going omni?
Yeah, I think that's the, thank you for that question, and I actually have a video which actually gives you a little bit of the art of possibilities on how Google looks at it. Can you play the video please, and then I'll talk about it a little bit more. This is a little longer one, but it gives you a glimpse on what to expect. So, as you can see, it is a little longer video, but it just tells you that the user journey has changed, in many fold, and it is ever changing. You're talking about, all this the discoverability, and you're talking about quick commerce, and today you can order on Blinkit, and before the lift comes to your place, I think the Blinkit deliveries are actually coming to your place. So I think the world is changing very fast, and Google, with all its presence across search, YouTube, maps, the creator economy, the cloud platforms, our Google My Business, and the Google Shopping platforms, it just has a whole suite of offerings that we enable retailers to move on the journey of digital transformation. And as digital and physical worlds are converging, I think what we are fundamentally helping retailers to do are three things. Number one, we are making their offline retail outlets, dealerships, branches, agents actually discoverable online, right? No matter which industry that you are looking at it. The second is, how do you get your inventory actually like on board, to be made more discoverable, and build on top of it, how can you build ability to drive online to offline, and vice versa, to drive that attribution. And right at the top of this pyramid, the way we look at it, We are building D2C capabilities for a lot of companies, large OEMs, whether it is Samsung, Lenovo, Dell in the durable space, or or even in the retail space. We are building these hyper-local capabilities and D2C capabilities to be able to go direct to their consumers. So a combination of all of these are like first early hygiene steps that we equip them, and of course the analytics and data and cloud are actually the infrastructure play, which is the most important foundational thing for retailers to crack.
So, Bhaskar, when we were talking in the morning before the session, you told me something very interesting about live commerce that you are doing at YouTube. So, I would love if you can share it again with everyone over here.
Yeah. So, I think firstly, YouTube is almost as India is a video first country. YouTube fundamentally defines the internet, right, for the masses in India. What we see in YouTube is the emergence of live commerce in a very interesting ways. As I said, like these are very early experiments happening. How do you make? There is a lot of user intent. All of us would have like compared one product versus other before deciding it on before buying anywhere. So what we see on YouTube is that people are not just coming there to understand what to buy, but they are also looking at where to buy. Yeah. So how do you enable that creator who is actually helping you to decide, decide which product to buy and make that entire user experience more seamless is one way. And live commerce, as I shared in other markets where we are experimenting, very early experiments are delivering some strong results, and we will be experimenting more in the coming quarters in India as well.
Okay. So, quick commerce, are you touching upon that also?
No, we are helping quick commerce companies, but I don't think Google. Google wants to play a meaningful role connecting users and businesses, in the retail ecosystem, no matter where the transaction culminates, right? So I think that's the play that's the vision that we have for retail, instead of us having any direct play in quick commerce.
And one term which is trending these days is metaverse. But I know Google uses it in a different way. They say immersive technology, right? So what all are you doing in this direction? And apart from that, which categories of retail do you think are going to pick up in the metaverse section?
Yeah. I know metaverse is the biggest buzzword, in retail today. If I can, firstly, there's a global view, and then there is a Google perspective on it, right? While we don't call it metaverse. See, the globally, if you look at it, metaverse is very interesting space for retail innovation going forward. But the way I look at it, there is a novelty aspect to metaverse today. To give you a context in terms of where it is right now, imagine a 5 test match series, for how metaverse will play out. I think we are in the first test match on day 1, and there is a toss happening right now. That's as early as it is there right now. So there is going to be a lot of experimentation, curiosity, but I think people are searching for the front door to metaverse as we speak. And I think it needs to solve for discoverability, it needs to solve for reducing the friction, making higher bottom lines, and until such time, we will continue to see novelty resulting in many experimentation, but the space will continue to evolve. But globally, we are seeing a lot of companies like including Ralph Lauren, Gucci, even PacSun in the US, all of them are experimenting with Roblox and selling their digital goods, and and Nike really like buying a virtual sneakers company. I think RT, FKT. I think all these are emerging things that are actually going to kind of charge the space. Even in India, very early experimentation, but I think the technology holds a lot of promise. NFTs, even Mahindra has launched Thar NFTs and sold them for 26 lakh rupees, which were donated to Nanni Kali Foundation. So there are these like experimentations which are there even in India, but as I said, it is very early in the game, and it needs to deliver a lot of promises before the $1 trillion opportunity takes off. Now coming to Google, you're right? We never call it metaverse, but honestly, we believe that the AR, VRs are the foundational platforms, right, for metaverse to exist, and we have been investing in that for a very long time. So what we see is, I think when great technology should be invisible, right? So when people are able to use AR functionalities in the real world in a very seamless way, I think that to us is actually immersive technologies. And recently, even during the recent Google I/O, our CEO Sundar Pichai mentioned that I think what is more meaningful would be to make people get more immersive into the real world than taking them away from it. So that is a direction that we feel are taking. I just have another video to share with you on some of the things that, to give you a glimpse in terms of like how are we taking the AR, VR immersive experiences to the next level and how different industries are actually impacted by it. Can you have the video, please, the second one? Yeah. Can you go to the next slide on that same deck? So I just want to share with you a couple of new introductions that we have done. Next slide, please. Yeah. So we recently launched something called multi-search. Again, not launch, we'll be launching, this was announced in the recent I/O. So if you look at it, Lens, Google Lens is the new interface to discover products. You can look for a yellow dress that is physically available, and then you can look at where to buy online, number one. And you can add a functionality of search a word, right? I want the same dress in green, and that actually like gives you a discoverability of the same products across the board. So it just makes shopping and search a lot more seamless in a very visual first way, right? Next slide, please. And if you look at how do we create more immersive and more helpful relationships between the virtual and physical worlds, and Google Maps is another great example. More than 1.2 billion buildings that actually have very immersive street view right now. Not so prominent in India, but if you really look at it, when you really map the real world with a whole new dimension inside out, it just opens up many more experiences and make it more utilitarian of sorts. Next slide, please. And this is a recent work that we have done with Singapore Tourism Board, where, for example, if you are planning a trip to Singapore, right, Merrill, actually you can totally like look at Singapore from all aspects and make your decisions on which places to watch, how to buy, all those things that actually are opportunities that you can really do. So it can disrupt, all these technologies can actually disrupt a lot of industries. But as I said, utility and how can all our technologies be more seamless, and another thing that we have launched, actually a concept that we have shared is actually glasses, Google Translate glasses, because I'm from Hyderabad, so I speak Telugu, right? And if there is a seller who speaks in another language, so just the way we have subtitles of each of the languages, I think glasses can actually translate into your own mother tongue of sorts. So there are these immersive technologies which makes I think interactions a lot more human and gets you closer and more immersive into the real world, and that's the direction that that we are taking. Next, that's it. Yeah.
So,
I hope that gives you a broad direction.
yes, definitely. And one more thing, SimSim is what Google acquired in 2021, right?
Yeah.
How is it faring for you? And if you talk about video commerce, any plans to integrate video commerce and SimSim together? If you can throw much deeper light into, because everybody wants to understand what it is all about.
Yeah, so I think SimSync is part of the many acquisitions that Google does. I would not want to comment on that part currently, but I think what the SimSync team brings us is a deep understanding of how the video commerce works, and their learnings and insights and inputs and builds are definitely something that that are helping to build some bit of a directional commerce journey for YouTube. So, but I'm very excited that if you even take a slightly more Asia Pacific view, right? Video commerce is expected to grow at almost 2 times of the regular commerce, right? In a way, although albeit on a smaller base, and I think it's going to have a meaningful opportunity for all brands. And the creator economy, as I said, you'll see many more ways for creators to monetize, right? YouTube also is working and opened up intent to work with creators to launch their own NFTs in this space. So how the creator economy meets video commerce capabilities is a very interesting play that we'll see powering the next wave of video commerce.
From my understanding, live commerce or social commerce, which is going to pick up and why?
I think there is space for coexisting on all of them. My view is, see, live commerce is a way of monetizing. During Singles Day, a live commerce in China, a brand has sold some $7.5 billion in the first 60 minutes or something like that. So live commerce is a launch platform of sorts. So everybody who has a launch in some form is able to do that. I think quick commerce is there are different commercial and viabilities and all of them attached to it. So it is again, I think, two very different spaces. One is
I'm talking about social commerce and live commerce.
So see, social commerce is very important to unlock the next wave of internet users to buy them for the first time, because that's where people trust the influencers, or people trust known people to help them buy in the journey. Live commerce will continue to be very meaningful for the first, maybe the top 10 million users or 20 million users who are very quickly, who already adopted the e-commerce journeys. While I think quick commerce has a lot more meaningful role to play in opening up the new internet users to shop for the first time and giving them that comfort and convenience and ease to be able to do that. So I think there's a space for both.
Okay. So last question, Bhaskar, what else can we expect from the technology perspective going ahead for the retailers?
So I think retail is probably the most exciting, in its most exciting phase of innovation. Your customers are actually your buyers and also creators on one side. And your products are both physical and digital on the other side, right? And then there are technologies like, even fundamental things like omni-channel technologies, omni-channel readiness, data, how to leverage data. All of them are things that we have to do here and now. So how they embrace these technologies in a mass way is, I think, should be a #1 priority for the retailers today. And at the same time, I think all the AR, VR, and how it actually opens up new ways to unlock discovery and and reducing friction of purchasing as consumers traverse both the worlds. Using any of these things that we spoke about is the second wave to look at it. But I just genuinely believe that all retailers should focus on building not multi-channel, don't be channel-centric, but be more customer-centric going forward. And that will that will help you as a guiding principle to traverse these new technologies and not pick up the next shiny toy.
Thank you so much, Bhaskar.
Yeah.
We'll open the floor for the audience questions, please.
Hi, good morning. I'm Neha from KPMG. I have two questions. One being, you spoke about SBT Singapore. And earlier this year, there was this news that Seoul also wants to be on Metaverse, or probably that's the first city to be on Metaverse, Seoul. So how different it would be from Seoul being on Metaverse and Singapore being on SBT, STB, or on a Google platform? Would it be same or any different?
Uh, so your question is on the Singapore Tourism Board
Yes.
reference that we have shown.
Yes.
See, I like Singapore, like tourism is one industry, right? Like all of us were like holed up in our homes and cannot go places. But I think there is Google has been working with many of these museums and to Google art and culture in that context. So what this new Google Cloud immersive, we call it XR, like immersive reality, allows you to kind of is to shape these experiences and make your real worlds more immersive of sorts. And that is going to be far more meaningful to make some informed choices, right? If you're a tourist and so on and stuff like that. That's one example. And again, it's very early. Literally it is like 2 weeks old, launched in Google I/O. But there are like 5, 6 big use cases. And it has far-reaching implications. For example, one of the biggest challenges in retail, in apparel, is your sizes, right, returns. The same technology can actually be used, the XR, immersive reality can actually be used in looking how a particular dress is going to look on you for your dimensions and then, make a more informed choice of sorts. So it's just what we offer is a technology platform, and a lot of customers wants to leverage that for their many use cases. Like Ford is building a future dealership where you literally get a view of the new car as close to the reality as possible of sorts. So I think this will evolve.
My second question is around, we were talking about consumers being way ahead than retailers.
Yeah.
And we need to reimagine the retail for future, right? And that is where probably we are talking about Metaverse, Omnichannel, and all of these platforms. And you interestingly pointed out the examples from luxury retail industry, right? We have been seeing a lot of traction there where all these brands are probably trying to hop on the bandwagon and trying to make their presence felt on Metaverse. And that is where Balenciaga, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all of them were launching their NFTs or skins for virtual avatar. And I see like a lot of consumers are also paying. Somewhere I read there was a bag sold, a virtual bag for $4,000, whereas probably in the market that's probably of just $2,000, right? So I just want to understand, I understand that the concept is mainly based on Gen Z because that's the hot market now. But is it really the luxury and the goods that are being sold, or is it just a perception of luxury? Because right now we don't know where we are heading. And Metaverse would be an alternate channel, or it's a parallel world that is being built?
Yeah. No, great question. I see two kinds of customers embracing, this virtual worlds, right? One kind of customers are the examples I shared, like Ralph Lauren thinks that they're in the business of dreams, right? Now, and hence their showrooms are very different. The physical showrooms are different, experience is very different. But how do you craft that high touch experience on a mobile screen on an app? How do you differentiate a Ralph Lauren app from another low-end, like a mass retailer of sorts, right? You can't differentiate. So they're embracing that. How do you translate their brand promise into the new world, more from an engagement point of view? And the second kind of retailers I see are embracing are people who are talking to millennial generation, right? Because there is no way on earth that you can connect with that generation in the current lens of thinking. So hence platforms like Roblox, and I have an 11-year-old daughter, and she loves Roblox, and she has a list of 10 things that she wants to buy if and when she can afford Robux.
That's what I want to exactly understand. What's her motivation? Because now what we are owning is
Yeah, but
digital goods.
if you want to talk, that's what I'm saying. If you want to talk to that generation, right? And if you are talking to that teenage, the teens or millennials, you have to engage with them in those platforms where where they all pan out, and that's why a lot of experimentation is happening on platforms like Roblox who are creating these worlds. But as I told you, right, this is a very early in the game. There is a novelty factor to this right now. Whether it will truly pan out into a really business sense, and some companies have taken an extreme view on it. We should see how it solves for utility.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the question.
Any other question, please?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
So in the last sentence of your chat, you said that retailers should take a customer-centric approach rather than a platform-centric approach, right? So could you just elaborate a little bit more on that? Because I just wanted to know a little bit on like what your views exactly meant on that.
Yeah. So, see, I think channels are evolving, right? I had my roots in FMCG, so when general trade used to be pretty big, and then they said, oh, modern trade is going to be the next big thing. When I passed out from college, it was supposed to be the hottest thing, and India will become like the US, and Walmarts will happen and all that. Now, it just got stuck at 10% of the total value, right? For many, many reasons. Now, there used to be modern trade teams and all that. Now, again, e-commerce has come in and particularly accelerated during pandemic. And see, FMCG e-commerce has actually moved from 1 to 2% to, I don't know, 10, 12, 15%, depending on the kind of company that you are there. So then you build e-commerce teams, yeah? So the question, the point I was trying to make is that you can be channel centric, right? You can like, which channel I need to build, right? That is like a multi-channel approach, right? You can be a multi-channel retailer saying that, okay, how am I making money? Which channel is more profitable? However, having said that, why our D2Cs today are able to get a little bit of an edge with the premium consumers, and and why are 65% of the consumers are actually trying new brands is because somewhere down the line, convenience and ease is playing a significant role. More than that, it is the data, right? I know you, I have this 10 million users. Like, what is the strength behind a Nykaa today, right? They have the user base. They can have a two-way engagement with the user and not like a one-way engagement and just trying to optimize for channel profitability. So, hence, I think in a privacy-first future, as all of us are embracing, it's very important to invest in your first-party data strategy, and knowing your customers are very, very important. One last example I want to share is that I recently met an insurance, one of the biggest ones in health insurance, and profitability of digital channels and the physical channels are both the same right now. But the fact is that the lifetime value of the digital channel, D2C business, is becoming almost like 1,000 crores for them. But more importantly, they have the data of the customers and have a two-way engagement of sorts, yeah, in a far meaningful way. So instead of saying, hey, should I have more stores? Should I have more branches? Should I build my D2C? If you look at, hey, how many customers I have and what do I know about them, that will define your channel strategy. And your investments in technology and tools will be in that direction.
Basically, you're saying not to just hop onto any bandwagon and see what works for you,
yeah,
right?
Just build a strong first party and use that data as a fuel to determine your channel strategy.
Thank you.
Rather than like going channel first.
Can we take the questions downstairs, please? Bhaskar is around. If you can catch him downstairs, somewhere in the hall. We'll have to wrap it up because we are running short on time. So thank you, Bhaskar, for being here and sharing insights with us. Let's go ahead with the next session.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and thanks everyone.
Thank you
It's been a
so
great
much,
audience.
Mr. Bhaskar and Charu. I would like to request Ms. Charu to please hand over a word of thanks. Can we have a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for such a delightful session?